Imagine a company so important that if it stopped operating for just 1 week, the global technology industry would begin to panic. Apple couldn't launch new iPhones. NVIDIA's AI chips would face delays. AMD processors would disappear from production lines. Even companies like Qualcomm, Broadcom, and MediaTek would struggle to keep products on shelves. Yet here's the strange part. Most people have never bought anything directly from this company. Its logo isn't on your smartphone. Its name isn't printed on your laptop. And it rarely advertises to consumers. The company is called TSMC, the Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. Today, it's considered one of the most strategically important businesses on Earth. But unlike Apple or Samsung, TSMC doesn't design chips. It doesn't sell computers. It doesn't make smartphones. Instead, it manufactures the tiny processors that power nearly all of them. So how did one company become the factory behind the world's biggest technology brands? The answer starts with one idea that almost everyone believed would fail. Back in the 1980s, the semiconductor industry followed a simple rule. If you designed computer chips, you also manufactured them. Companies like Intel handled everything themselves. They designed processors, owned enormous factories, built the chips, and sold the finished products. This approach worked for decades. But there was one enormous problem. Building semiconductor factories was becoming unbelievably expensive. Each new generation required better equipment, cleaner facilities, more advanced research, and billions of dollars in investment. For smaller companies, the cost became impossible to afford. Even brilliant chip designers couldn't compete if they couldn't build expensive manufacturing plants. That's when a man named Morris Chang saw an opportunity that everyone else had missed. Instead of asking, "What if we design better chips?" he asked something much more interesting. What if we only manufacture them? At the time, it sounded ridiculous. Why would companies trust another business to build their most valuable technology? Most executives believed manufacturing had to remain in-house. It was simply too important to outsource. But Morris Chang believed specialization would become the future of the semiconductor industry. And he was willing to bet an entire company on that belief. In 1987, TSMC was founded in Taiwan. Unlike Intel, unlike Samsung, unlike nearly every major semiconductor company, TSMC made a radical decision. It would never compete with its customers. It wouldn't design processors. It wouldn't launch consumer electronics. It wouldn't create competing chip brands. Its only job would be manufacturing. That single decision changed everything. Suddenly, small chip designers no longer needed to spend billions building factories. They could focus entirely on innovation. TSMC would handle production. This created an entirely new type of business, the pure-play foundry model. Instead of competing against chip designers, TSMC became their manufacturing partner. At first, many companies remained skeptical. Handing over production meant trusting another company with valuable intellectual property. If TSMC failed, their products failed too. Building that trust wasn't easy. But Morris Chang understood something incredibly important. If TSMC could become the most reliable manufacturer in the world, customers would keep coming back. Not because they had to, but because nobody else could match its quality. So TSMC invested relentlessly. Not in advertising, not in flashy marketing, but in manufacturing excellence. Every generation of semiconductor technology became smaller, more efficient, more powerful. Producing those chips required astonishing levels of precision. Factories known as fabs became some of the most advanced buildings ever constructed. Inside them, workers wore specialized cleanroom suits. Air filtration systems removed microscopic particles. Temperature and humidity were carefully controlled. Even a single speck of dust could destroy millions of dollars worth of chips. Every wafer passed through hundreds of manufacturing steps, each one requiring near-perfect accuracy. The process became so complex that only a handful of companies on Earth could even attempt it. TSMC wanted to become the very best. And year after year, it quietly did exactly that. While consumers focused on iPhones, gaming consoles, and powerful graphics cards, TSMC focused on one thing: building the world's most advanced chips better than anyone else. That relentless focus would eventually transform the company from a contract manufacturer into the most important factory in the global technology supply chain. Because as devices became smarter, smaller, and more powerful, the companies designing the future increasingly depended on one manufacturer capable of turning their ideas into reality. The strategy worked better than almost anyone expected. As more companies abandoned the expensive task of building their own factories, TSMC became the manufacturing partner of choice. One by one, the world's biggest technology companies joined: Apple, NVIDIA, AMD, Qualcomm, Broadcom, Media. Even companies competing fiercely against each other trusted the same manufacturer. But because TSMC never competed with its customers, it never launched its own smartphones, never released its own graphics cards, never built its own processors. That neutrality became one of its greatest strengths. Every customer knew the same thing: TSMC's success depended entirely on helping them succeed. Then smartphones changed everything. As billions of people began carrying powerful computers in their pockets, demand for advanced chips exploded. Every new iPhone required faster processors. Every Android phone needed more efficient chips. Battery life improved. Performance increased. Artificial intelligence started appearing inside mobile devices. Behind almost every one of those improvements stood TSMC. Consumers saw Apple's logo, Samsung's logo, Qualcomm's logo, but deep inside many of those devices, the chips had been manufactured by the same company. TSMC quietly became the factory powering the mobile revolution. The next wave was even bigger: artificial intelligence. Training modern AI models requires enormous computing power. Companies like NVIDIA design some of the world's most advanced AI chips. But designing them is only half the battle. Someone still has to manufacture billions of microscopic transistors with astonishing precision. That's where TSMC comes in. Its factories produce some of the most advanced semiconductor nodes in the world: 3 nanometers, 5 nanometers, and beyond. Each new generation packs more transistors into smaller spaces, improving both performance and energy efficiency. Without these manufacturing advances, today's AI revolution simply wouldn't exist. Every breakthrough in machine learning depends not only on better software, but also on better hardware. And much of that hardware begins inside TSMC's fabrication plants. Of course, maintaining this leadership isn't easy. Building a single advanced semiconductor fab can cost more than $20 billion. The machines inside, many supplied by ASML, are among the most sophisticated ever built. So why did TSMC become the world's most powerful chip company? Not because it created the most famous processors, not because consumers recognize its brand, but because it built the foundation that almost every major technology company depends upon. Apple designs incredible chips. NVIDIA designs revolutionary AI processors. AMD builds powerful gaming hardware. Qualcomm powers billions of smartphones. But bringing those designs to life requires extraordinary manufacturing. That's where TSMC became indispensable. In today's technology race, designing the future is important, but building it may be even more valuable. And that's exactly why one company, working quietly behind the scenes, has become one of the most powerful businesses on the planet. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more.